Welcome. Hi, this is Jackie from Cady Jax Knits, and welcome to this special Soho Square episode. I filmed most of it yesterday, but I just wanted to officially welcome any of you who are new and let you know how excited that both Caitlin and I are that you've dropped into our channel. This is a special episode all about the Soho Square, which is right here and is dropping on Friday this week. Perhaps you're new to this channel because you saw the Soho Square. Cady Jax Knits is a video podcast all about knitting, and it's hosted by me and Caitlin, who lives in Knoxville, Tennessee. So this one is made with Birdie, held single. You can see it here. So it's translucent, it's a big, extravagant scarf set. There's so many ways to wear this. You can just toss it on like an absent-minded professor is one way. They're good with jeans and just a shirt as well. I love it with, a store-bought crew neck. This is one of my favorite all-time sweaters, which is the Tippy from J. Crew. And I'm pairing it with one of Susie's Pittsburgh Mercantile bags. But you can see how this particular scarf really plays well with your wardrobe. And so I really want you to think about it very differently than maybe the way you've thought about other shawls before, where the shawl itself is just an object of desire and it's a beautiful thing all by itself. These are beautiful all by themselves, but really what they do is they play so well with clothes. That's what I'm so excited about. That's why I have absolutely flooded Instagram with pictures of this. It's not about me, it's because I am passionate about this pattern. So enjoy the video. I filmed it on a sunny day, but I feel like some of my outfits maybe weren't so great, so I just wanted to show you a few more ways to wear this because I would be doing a disservice while I have your eyes here not to show it off in all its, I think, splendor. So the yarn was given to me by Sarah from the Lamb & Kid. It's Birdie, it's Surrey alpaca held single, and it's absolutely, her palette is exquisite, and I don't think you could really go wrong. One of the key things though when you're choosing your colors for this, and I have the original colors right here, which are Dean and Scout, is to think about them in sets of pairs. So this would be a pair, and then this would be a pair, and I literally hold them up and crisscross them and just see what the dynamic is when I do that. And the other thing I think about is which one do I want to emphasize? And what I mean by that, I do explain it in the video. The pattern comes with 5 videos and I go through everything. So I think, it's a knit stitch that you need to know how to do and German short rows, but I show you step by step. But the thing I want to show you on the pattern is each side you'll choose an emphasis. So let me put this down. So in this blue triangle, there is more red than brown. And in the green triangle, there's more brown than red. So that would be the other thing that you want to decide is which one you want to emphasize, which contrast color you want to emphasize on which half. So this particular shawl, I put the main colors as the bold colors, but I very easily could have switched it and had the contrast colors be my main colors. It's so fun to play with and mix it up, and I really think you're going to enjoy it and have fun. So many of us are used to putting up 2 color combinations. It's such a thrill to have 4. It just creates this dynamic expression that's everything, that allows you to have very simple pieces from your wardrobe, simple solids and simple prints, and then pair this shawl with them beautifully. I also think this pattern can give you an opportunity to correct some things you might have done. Like I knit this sweater, I think it was in Isair mohair, held double. It's the Stockholm sweater, and I hardly ever wear it, but the pattern includes a wink, and it's a way to add color or to coordinate one of your knits that you've already made. So I might make a wink I have this yarn left, so I could make a wink that goes, has one section with this color, and maybe I'd get more use out of it. Maybe it would brighten the sweater up by my face for me. I think the Soho Square is even made in the Birdie or the Surrey alpaca, even formal enough to wear to a wedding as something special, with a gown. I mean, we just want to have options. We want to go all the way from t-shirts to ball gowns with our knits. I hope I'm convincing you that it's a very versatile piece, all the way from casual to formal, from prints to solids to twin sets. And the only thing that I really want to emphasize here is, as you watch, be thinking about your palette. What colors do you wear again and again? Because that's what this is for. It's meant to integrate your neutrals with this season's pop of color that interests you. And of course, for me, an orangey red is always a must, right? Okay, enjoy the video. I'm so glad you're here. We will have a knit along. There will be a Ravelry page on the Lamb and Kid landing, so there'll be chat, just like with the Weekender. So we'll be able to make our winks and our Soho squares together. All right, great, thanks. Good morning. This is Jackie from Cady Jax Knits, and I'm here in Madison, Wisconsin today, filming a special episode about the Soho Square. And I'm by myself. Caitlin is out west somewhere, and I look forward to having her back and podcasting with her. But I wanted to get this up to tell you about a new pattern that I'm releasing on Friday. So it's called the Soho Square, and I'm going to just lead in with a little story about it, because I first thought of the Soho Square back in December. I was in California at the time, and I ordered the yarn for it, and I couldn't wait to start it. And from California, I went to Bainbridge Island, Washington, and unbeknownst to me, started this shrug phenomenon. And so I have been knitting shrugs, and many, many of them this year. But if some of you have been around here for a while, you know that one of the knits that I always have on my needles is a half and half triangle wrap. And this first Soho Square is no exception. It started off, I think it was my 6th half and half triangle wrap. It was my 7th. And I'm going to back up a little bit, because I feel like the idea came to me, but I personally don't know if you've ever read Elizabeth Gilbert's book, Big Magic, but she talks about creativity, and she talks about it being outside of you, being something that you're receptive to, that visits you, that is not part of your ego, a genius, the way the Greeks conceived of it. And my whole creative knitting journey has kind of been like that. It's been part intention, part intuition, and a big part of it has been, as odd as this may sound, it's been generosity and reaching out and connecting with people. And so just this This last summer at this time was when my mother was diagnosed with cancer. And I had already lost my father to cancer. And we were up in the hospital hearing the news. And it was time to go down to the parking lot and get the car and take her home with this new knowledge. And I had been in the ER with her, and it had been a couple days in the hospital. And the ride down the elevator, I was by myself. Well, some of you know how that feels. And I was thinking, here we go. This is it. This is my new life, my mother with cancer. I don't know how I'm going to face it, but I'm going to face it. And I got off the elevator and stepped out and literally bumped into one of my favorite yoga instructors, Cady Hill. And she's made the small talk. I had my half and half triangle wrap in my bag with me. It was just sitting in my bag right here, this mountain. You know how cold hospitals can be. And she was touching it and talking to me and saying, oh, kind of the small talky, I see you on Instagram. Everything's so beautiful. How are you? And I was like, I feel like shit. And I explained what just happened. And I knew this about Cady, but I had forgotten. And she said to me, she said, I'm here because, excuse me, because I have cancer and I am surviving it. And I just have to come in and they check to make sure I'm okay. But I survived. And not every cancer you're going to die from. And we were talking, and she was cold, and it was just the message I needed to hear. And she was cold, and her hand was on my half and half wrap, and I just pulled it out, and I wrapped it around her. Sorry. And I gave it to her, and I said, I know the universe wants you to have this, because this is the message I need right now, and you're giving it to me, and I want you to be warm, and I know you have to come here for these treatments, so this is yours. And she had the grace to just receive it, which I'm forever grateful for. And then the wrap that I was currently knitting at the time, when I finished that one, I also gave that one away. I sent it to a woman who had been so kind to my mother during her cancer. And so half and halves move through me. They're always on my needles. They mean a lot to me. They give me comfort. They receive me, no matter what I'm going through. It's just long rows of garter. And I hear other people talk about them like they're products, and they're, tedious, and they take a long time, and maybe even like it's a status object to have knit one or something, which is totally fine. I don't, people can hate them. It's fine, but that's not how I feel about them. I feel that they witness me, and so there was like this void that was created. I just gave my very first one away, and I gave the last one I'd made away. And the next one on my needles was this new iteration. And this is the first Soho Square. And you've seen this before. This was me thinking about Fibonacci and the golden ratio and planning out, talking to engineers, talking to my son. I figured out an algebraic formula for this that gave it such a absolutely, I would say magnificent proportion. And I like it even more than the half and half because it's more dynamic. The color just dances, and there are so many ways to wear it, So you've seen this on my podcast before. This is the original one, and people kept saying, I want to make it, how do I make it? And I said I'd write up the notes. But it's actually, and I have written up the notes, so that's what I'm here to tell you today. They're right here, and it's the Soho Square. And did I put that upside down? Right here. And in the pattern, you'll see that I did video tutorials, and I made coloring pages. I believe it's like 8 pages, but don't let that scare you. I mean, there's literally 2 pages of directions. So just trust me that once you get the hang of it, it is soothing, relaxing, engaging knit. And this one was in linen quill, and I've told you about it before. And as soon as I finished it, I didn't want it to be a one-time phenomenon, so I put another one on my needles. And for some odd reason, I don't feel like weaving this in. I don't know why. I just want I want it to be slightly unfinished. So here's the next one, and you can see it's got 2 sides, just like the original, and they wrap and tuck, and I don't know, maybe I'll weave that in, but I just love it just the way it is. So these were, Purl Soho came out with some new colors. These 2 colors were new. This is the poppy red that was in my first one I ever knit, and kettle black, baked earth, robin's egg blue. And it's a very, I love the center seam right down the middle. So when you pick your 4 colors, the first main color you use will end up being the center seam. And in terms of how much is used, I think I have it right here, yeah. So it's 2 skeins of each main color, and I had this much left over, and then 1 skein of each contrast color. Now this is per my gauge. You'll notice this is the leftovers from this one. You notice I don't have the blue, and that's because my friend Debbie Korb is knitting it too, and she knits at a different gauge than I have, so she needed 2 skeins plus a little extra, so I sent her my leftovers. So and all of these are meant to be, within either 1 or 2 skeins. So if you run into that situation, if you feel like you're a loose knitter or something like that, I would say be careful, maybe cast on a fewer stitches. We can talk more about that later, but that's the 6 skein linen quill version. And but then I went to New York this spring with Sarah and Charlene from the Laine Kid, and we talked about how fun it would be to take the business end, this corner, because I know how long these take, and design a scarf that only uses 4 skeins of yarn. And so that's what I did with the Soho Scarf. It's a 4 skein Birdie held single project. It's on a different size needle, but it is a faster project, deeply glorious, and that one is right here. So this is Birdie by itself. It's a smaller dimension, so it's faster to knit, but it's absolutely a glorious little soft item that's diminutive and that has the same situation with color moving through it. These are called Scout and Dean, which are the main colors, and then Heirloom and Cafe here. And something that is really important to me that I'm doing now is I'm not just coming up with shawls by themselves out of nowhere, but I've designed them to wear with other items. So I'm just going to toss on this, this was the mini mock neck. So you remember I made a bunch of these this summer, right? So you put on your mini mock neck, and which can be worn in the fall as a vest. And then you have this little glorious number to go with it, and it's just exciting and fun the way the colors play together. Now, I'm not sure I love this outfit at this point. I feel like, just to be totally honest, this needs to be broken up and be stripes. But you get the idea. And okay, here's what I mean by stripes. It's just, it needs a little bit of dynamic. So you wear your vest and you wear some stripes under it, and it's just so much fun. I just can't get over how much fun these are. So both the Soho Squares you see here are paired with mini mock neck tanks, and this is Trio from the Lamb and Kid in Cafe and in Sunny Side Up, and it's a great pairing to have either a vest or a tank like this with a shawl. So the thing about this is it's also small enough, because I always wear my hair in these clips, so it's also small enough to just be a scarf in the wintertime. So this is the headscarf style. When you're out on a walk and you need a little extra something, you just tie it in the back, right? It's just super pretty, keeps your ears and your head warm. Dessert. There it is, as a little scarf that you can wear. So you see another version right here where I matched it with a vest, which leads me to, I wanted to share with you another instance of the way things move through you. This wrap was designed off of this book, which I read while I was in New York, and it's by Durga Chew-Bose, or Bose, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, and it's a book of essays. She's a writer and now a director, and I'm just going to read you this little section she wrote about women and her friends. She said, "The women I love re-enter the world so poorly. Their elegance lies in how summarily they'll dodge its many attenuations, advancing alongside the world as if passing their fingers over the rails of a fence and cleverly selecting the right moment to hop over. They are women who are loveliest when just a little bit haunted or mad as hell on a clear day, who carefully believe in ghosts and kismet and are mistrustful of shortcuts, who laugh like villains, wake up earliest when the sky is overcast, who needn't say much for all to know tonight they won't be staying out long, who dip their toes into the current only to retreat and fantasize about the bowl of cereal they'd rather be scarfing down at home, who, like my friend Jenny specifically, are hot, who don't need anyone, including me right now, to depict why. Proximity to hotness can feel like a link to the universe. Your hot friend on a balmy summer night telling you about some good news in her life is, how do I put this without sounding absurd? It's barometric, it's love, and someone you love's power growing, and it's watching the elements cater to a woman who exudes." I just love her writing so much, and I love her testimony to loving women, and loving women, celebrating women in their beauty, in their power, in their glory, and I think that's what we do in knitting land. And we can do that with what we choose to knit. So, as I worked on writing up this pattern, I kept thinking about her and her creativity and her perseverance and her devotion to a love not just of herself but to the women around her. And I just thought it was such a beautiful example that this shawl I'm sending to her to have in tribute to that spirit. And that's the spirit I'm offering this pattern to you. I don't want you to watch my Instagram or my videos and think, I don't know, it's all, I want you to think about how you want to feel and how it makes you feel. And I invite you to look into your own wardrobe, look into knitting items that you will wear again and again. When I put on any of these shawls, I have to admit, I'm not a perfectionist, but I didn't like the outfit that I spontaneously created here. But I think it's okay that you see that. What I'm committed to doing in the short term is I will style these and put them up on Instagram so you can see them worn lots of different ways. Because they are so versatile and I want to show you that. But this morning I don't want to sit here and change my clothes over and over and over again. The mini mock neck was in Sunny Side Up, so I used Sunny Side Up again and then I used Gray Marsh Vintage and Old Coast. And I wanted to show you too that in Birdie, this is how much I have left of the main colors, and these are how much I have left of the contrast colors. Which leads me into another exciting thing about this pattern is that there are 3 sizes, and the last size also has a story. So I went to see aerial acrobatics on wires outdoors in a park under oak trees, and afterwards went to have dinner. And I was with friends, and when the waitress came for our order, I'd received a pink plastic duck from a woman on stilts previously, and I set this pink plastic duck on the wooden table right next to the candle. And for some odd reason, the candle light went through the pink plastic and just made this glow, like I had just added something to a fire. And I was sitting down and the waitress was standing, and I looked up at her and she looked down at me, and we both saw it like this just beautiful moment, an incandescent moment, and she winked at me. And her wink was like a Greek goddess had just let me know that she had been visiting and she was my waitress and everything was going to be all right. And she was glad that I had found her out, and it was just between us. I was just kind of flooded with love and delight. And so this one is called The Wink, after that experience where you have something small that's so wonderful. So this is knit with Birdie held single 2 on size 6 needles, just like the other one. And this too can be worn as a headscarf, or you can wear it, of course, around your neck like a little bandana. So let me just show you what that looks like. I love the way the colors play. So you just put it on like that, and then you have this wink of color. I know the sun's coming through. This is the wink, and you can also, put it on your bag, put it in your hair, put it on your neck. And if you have made a scarf size, of course you will be able to knit a wink with the leftovers, I imagine. This is less than 1 skein of yarn altogether. On the pattern I wrote down the yardage, or I think I wrote down the grams that were used. But of course, who doesn't have a stack of leftover yarn in their stash? And the glorious thing, for instance, my friend, cardigan. My friend Debbie, she just knit a red cardigan, and she's going to make a wink and put some of the red Surrey alpaca from her cardigan into her wink, so she has something to wear it with. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to press pause and show you what it looks like with a sweater. I put, I love beige and camel, and then the fear that people often say is, oh, it can wash you out or whatever, but you put your wink on with it. Okay, so here's wink with just a big oversized sweater. And again, it's the juxtaposition of something large, something solid, with something small and dynamic. It's playful. So there are so many ways to use this Soho pattern. I am just thrilled. I can't wait to see your winks in our wink along. Color blocking's having a moment, like this bag. I still work at Twigs, and so I get to see things that come through. I couldn't get over, like this bag and this. So my point with this pattern is not so much that you want this exact one, and that's fine if you want this exact one, but the thrilling thing is to start this pattern. I've already knit, how many have I knit? 5, and I have so many more I want to knit, and I can use this as a tool to express myself and express my palette and integrate my wardrobe. So really make sure that I include the neutrals that I wear all the time. So in that way, Dean for me is an amazing neutral, and then my other favorite neutral at the moment is Miel. So if I include some version of Miel and Dean, then I can have a pop of color, but I can find it much easier to wear and express my when I go out into the world, it's a little encasing in your individuality, your self-expression. The barometric pressure that she talks about in this essay is, I think, in this knit, because this knit, just to harken back to those stories, the idea of it was given to me. It was given to me through a devotion to knitting something over and over and over again, and working out the math so you don't have to work it out, and you have this vehicle to play with color, to use colors you love, to integrate new colors in palettes that you're seeing this fall with things from your stash, to integrate prints and textures and different weights of yarn, and have something that is just a tool for you to build. I would say, here's the word that's so small. Your wardrobe is not a good word. That's like a piece of furniture. But I think that you're making your own sort of coat of arms when you knit something. You're putting yourself out into the world and saying, this is who I am. And I just think this pattern is a very good tool for you to write your own signature on, and dance your own dance, and sing your own tune, and just enjoy it. So I'm thrilled to offer it to you, and it is my first, official pattern where it's on Ravelry and you pay for it, and I just want to thank any one of you that supports the pattern, and I look forward to seeing them. We are going to, Caitlin and I and the Lambing Kid are going to host a wink along. These don't take long at all to knit, so we're going to have a wink along that starts Friday the 22nd and runs all the way up to Rhinebeck. So if you'd like to join us, of course use the hashtag, I don't know, I haven't come up with the hashtag yet. It's probably Soho Wink Along or something like that. You'll see, I'll do it on Instagram. But anyways, so thank you for joining me here today and spending a little time with me. I really really, really appreciate you. I know, you know, it's always kind of a different format here on this channel, but I will say the thing I appreciate about it is we keep doing it. However we do it, we keep doing it. We're in our 5th year, and you make it so worthwhile, so thank you. Okay, take care. Bye.